All right, all set up, ready to go. That's what I like to hear. Hey, everybody, it's Louis Porter Jr. It is Monday. It's Monday, another Monday. Monday, September 26th. We're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff today. But first and foremost, before we even get started, I want to thank Eric Mona for our lovely special event we did on Friday. It was very cool. If you haven't checked it out, the link will be on the bottom for YouTube and on the top, of course, for Facebook about this event. Ooh, do a little bit. This camera. It was lots of fun. I'm really thankful that Eric was kind enough to come on and talk about a lot of different things. If you're a fan of just really a lot of different things about just gaming and Pathfinder and organized play and even Starfinder, you can see a lot of that in the video. You'll find it very, very interesting. I apologize for the first couple of minutes. We had some technical difficulties. Yes, Brian, this would be better than debates. Oh, since we're talking about debates, let me just say this right now. I'm going to do my best not to talk about the debates tonight. Even though, like everybody knows, I have a degree in political science and I find this to be fascinating, I'm not going to watch these debates because I've already made my mind up. And the person who I'm going to vote for, and you never know who it's going to be. You never know, unless actually Jesus Christ comes down as an angel and touches me in the shoulder and says you got to vote for this other person. I've already made my decision. I mean, it's going to take a little act of faith to make me change my mind. Hey, Sean. I mean, there's no way that I'm going to not vote for the person I plan to. I've thought about it. I've decided. So that's the person I want to vote for. So yes, you're saying, well, who are you going to vote for, Louis? Well, really, it's not that difficult if you know me. But like I said, I don't like to ever try to influence anyone else's vote. But I think these are candidates you can check out their opinions. And if they fall in line with you, you should vote for them. You should vote, like Ted Cruz said, you should vote from inside. The important part, Don't make this, a silly political one. He said, vote your personal interest to it. So there you go. That's my feeling on it. So there you go. So tonight, instead of watching the debates, we're going to talk about something that I've been very much interested in, and I never quite understood why it never became. Let me put it this way: it never became a big thing for me, even though logically it would be. It's one of those weird kind of setup, kind of weird things. I don't even know. Hey David, what's going on? Describe like why it never came across like it should have. Because based on what it is and my time, it would be something that I would normally be like 100% behind. But I don't really get enough time to play like I'd like to. So we're going to talk about tonight, of course, is organized play. And we'll talk about my little history. Like I said, I don't really know on the actual side. I don't know a lot of the super inner workings. Thankfully enough, I've talked to a lot of people over the years who've given me tons of good information, including JP, who was running actually our organized play for New Exodus, and giving me a better understanding of how it works and seeing it from the inside, why it works the way it does. Plus, I want to talk about this since on Friday, Eric mentioned we talked about organized play because that's how he kind of got into his position at Paizo. He got involved with organized play and started doing stuff for Polyhedron, the magazine for that. So I thought it'd be interesting if we talk about a little bit of it. So I'm going to talk about the traditional. When I talk about living in organized play, I'm going to start back with WotC, the stuff that I knew growing up and I developed. The RPGA was, the organization that played, you could play Dungeons and Dragons with anybody. And I knew very little about it. But I knew a lot of people played it. I just didn't know what it was because I wasn't really involved. The thing that interested me, because I'm such a geek and this makes me define myself the best way, was Polyhedron. Polyhedron was a magazine I'd heard about. They were doing stuff with it, and there was a cool little like added-on magazine to. Oh, really? See, David's very funny to that. David just said that Numenera is about to launch some organized play. Eric on Friday said, and I quote, I wouldn't think about doing a game system without doing organized play. And looking at how so many companies are doing it, this is one of those kind of things that I know what I know, I agree. So, Polyhedron magazine was coming out, people were doing stuff, and I found out about Polyhedron kind of that weird kind of way, like, oh, what's this thing called Polyhedron? Oh, let me check this out. Oh, what's this organized play? So it kind of went that kind of route for me. And then I just thought that was a cool looking magazine. And then when Paizo acquired Dungeon and Dragon and them doing Polyhedron in it, I thought that was a great idea. I thought that was a brilliant idea. I love that. I love some of the stuff they did. I think they did some really cool D20 modern stuff that I'm a huge fan of in there. So I thought that was a great thing to do. And it worked out really well. So I was a big fan of that. And just getting more information about people playing it and stuff like that, it got me more interested to understand the process itself. I can say the guys that really got me really understanding the process were the guys at Paradigm Concepts. They're local here to South Florida. One of their owners, well, actually, one of the owners is a very good friend of mine. Well, actually, two of my owners are very good friends of mine. One of them I see more often since he lives with a very good friend of mine who runs a great store here in Davie. So they're roommates and been friends forever. I got to ask him questions about living campaign, how does it really work, and Brian, who also runs, I got to put Brian's adventure game store down here in Davie. Brian runs, and Brian's. If you've ever seen any of our things, I usually talk about Brian a lot because he's a friend, he's involved, and he helps me out. So when I wanted to learn more about it, he said, "Hey, talk to Eric about it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll talk to Eric." So Eric at Mona, but Eric Weiner over at Paradigm Concepts, now at Alligator Alley Entertainment. He explained to me kind of how it really worked and what the nuances were and what I thought was the smartest idea that I think he came up with. And I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. From people I'd always heard about the RPGA and the living campaigns that were going on at the time, they basically were, kill monster, get treasure. And that was the main focus they had. And, that didn't really appeal to me as a player style. And I didn't really like that, kill monster, get treasure, that. And some people like that. Don't get me wrong. That's for you. It just wasn't for me. So what Paradigm Concepts did, what I thought was brilliant and kind of different, is like there was a story, and the players, when they played, affected what happened in the story of stuff that was going on. And I always thought that was a brilliant idea for it. So watching the guys do Arcana for such a long time and getting such an insight was really just fundamentally interesting and fundamentally educational, just understanding like what did well, why this did better than that, and that just kept on. So today, after thinking about Eric and all this stuff and going, more about organized play, I talked to Pedro, who also is a member over at Paradigm Concepts. We were just pitching ideas. Hey, Rich, we're pitching ideas back and forth about living like organized play and living campaigns and what to expect and like that. And just some of the ideas that I thought were interesting, but never really happened in them. Like, for example, when we were doing New Exodus, and this is something I pitched to JP, and we never actually really implemented the way I wanted to, but I thought it made kind of more sense. So most people involved in living and organized play would play Winter Fantasy because that was the big one. Hey, Cam, that was the big one for WotC. So my idea was like, well, why don't they? But I couldn't figure this part out. It's like they play it over a year, and Winter Fantasy is like a big event, and that's how they did it. But I was like, why don't they make it like a little more structured? People were like, what do you mean? So this is my idea. And if you like this idea, please steal it and please pass it around. Please tell them I did it, but steal this idea. It's a great idea. My idea would be run your living campaign would start at Gen Con. So like Gen Con this year, 2016, you'd start your year events. Dun, 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 start. The midpoint of your year would be Winter Fantasy. Now, people who've been out to Winter Fantasy have been out to Indiana during the cold and all this, or DC, or wherever it's played, depending. That would be your midpoint. So that would be your big event. And then that would continue on for the rest of the year, and then it would end at your huge big event at Origins. So Gen Con would start, Origin ends. So, 2016, 2017, it ends in Origins. Now, between Origins and Gen Con, it used to be about 6 weeks. I think it's still about 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. But during that time, that 5-week period, you'd ramp up for the next following year. So it's like, Origin becomes a big con because we're ending it at Origins. And Gen Con becomes a big con because we're starting a new one. So it gives both cons, they're both important cons, equal balance and excitement why people would want to go to either one. So if you want to, if you're close to go Origins, you could also go to Gen Con. Do both, it's even better. You end it and you start again. End it, start again. And Winter Fantasy being that middle part would be like you do something really cool and inventive there. So that was always my idea, how I saw it in my head, how to market organized play to people. And, the whole aspect of let's tell the story. Let's tell more of the story. Hey, Pedro's just talking about you. That was an idea that I think was a brilliant move by the guys at Paradigm Concepts. I think that helped them get a lot of people on board. Also, I think it helped, they came at the right time. They came at the right moment. And, I think WotC dropped the ball. I mean, that's what you can call it. WotC dropped the ball at the worst, wrong period of time. Living City was going on. They moved in. It was kind of like a perfect time for the guys at Arcanus going on. So I think it was a smart move. I think it was a very, very smart move. I think it worked very well for them. I always thought it was an excellent plan. And an event they do at Origins, I think still do it. It's still doing Origins, a gathering, if I'm still correct. Is it Origins or Gen Con? Origins. I think it's Origins, the gathering. Pedro, is Origins the gathering or was it Gen Con gathering? I think it was Origins. We'll just confirm and tell. I'll tell everybody which one is right. I think that was a great idea. You know, once again, it's just getting people to play in large groups. I think is a good idea. Thanks, Pedro. And it's a great way to get people onto the product that you're making. See, Origins. I knew it was Origins. So as a marketing strategy, and that's how I see it. I don't. A lot of people say, well, okay, I want to do a living campaign, but I want to make money off this. And my idea is like, don't think of it as a money generating source, because I don't think there is really a way to generate the way you'd like it to. Because really, I mean, for a lack of a better term, you're giving away the adventures. People are playing them, and you're hoping that they basically then become interested in campaign setting and buy books and go to that connection. That's what everybody does. That's the main purpose of it. You get involved with organized play, you then buy the other products attached to it so you can add to your character and stuff like that. But think of it as a revenue source, I think is a bad idea. I would think of it as an expense. It's just going to be, it's your different type of marketing. This is like, you know, street teams in the early 90s with a lot of hip hop companies and stuff like that. We're going to just dump money into this thing, and we're going to go out there to help us expand our realm of influence. And I think if you look at what happened with Arcanus and the guys at Paradigm Concept, they proved that. I mean, they became very, very popular. They were very, very strong for a very long time. You know, if things had worked out differently, I think they could have easily been the guy. They could have been the living city modern day. You know, I think they did everything right. I think they had a lot of people involved with organized play before it happened that understood the nuances and the stuff that they said I don't understand totally. And they had a lot of the right people working for them. So I think that worked out very, very well for them. And you know, it just now in this day and age, it only seems to make sense to use organized play as a great stepping stone to build a fan base. You know, even the little bit of time that we did it with JP, I could see how important it was to the people who played it. And I didn't get this till I saw it live at PaizoCon initially. I'd always heard that, you know, if you play any living campaigns, most people get really excited about it and they start playing. They want to play as much as they can because they'll eat up adventures as fast as you get them. So like a lot of people, and I was thinking at first, I'm like, well, you could do like one adventure every 2 months. And you know, JP's laughing. You're like, no, dude. I mean, people will play like everything. You know, they'll just play through it. I'm like, what do you mean? How can they play through it? And he explained it to me. You know, these people are rabid fans. If they like your stuff, they're going to sit down, they're going to play it, and you need to have more adventure for them to play. They need stuff for them to play to say, oh my God, I love the setting. I love this. I want to play more. Because kind of in turn, the more they love it, the more product they're going to buy. So that was always the question for me, but I was always laughing like, well, how many adventures would be enough to start? And like, how many would be good? And, you know, twice a month, I mean, look, I'm a small company. Doing an adventure twice a month, you know, for me would be difficult. You know, the cost alone, and even I'm talking. Look, I know ways to cut the corners and save a little bit of money here and there, but the actual outflow of money to it is probably going to be very expensive. I mean, let's do some quick math. And of course, I can't use my calculator, but it's on my phone. But I will use the one on my computer, so I can do some quick math, and you can think about this for a second. So let's say we're going to do a regular adventure. Let's say it's going to be 15,000 words. 15,000 words printed out will be about 22-ish, 25 pages, you know, with stuff. And I'm just saying that's going to be, let's see if we can get it relatively cheap. I'm going to be like, okay, if we paid 1 cent a word, that'd be $150. That's way too expensive for us because we can't pay that kind of money, but we're trying to put together something relatively cheap. So we got to go real cheap. We're going to be like, okay, we're going to play a flat rate, but it saves ourselves a lot of money just on the writing side. And the flat rate's going to be, let's be honest, I gotta just put, okay, look, the flat rate's going to be $75. And I could hear you guys gasping saying, oh, Lou, that's like half a cent a word. I'm like, yes, it's half a cent a word. No lie. And you just tell people, look, we're giving this away. We're not making any money off this. We're going to give this away. So this is $75. I'm not getting back. I'm giving this money. And if it does great, that's great. I'm never going to make a cent on this. The money's just tossed away in the wind. And that's all right. So that's $75 for that. All right. So $75. The cover, we're going to find some stock piece of art and just use it over and over for all the covers for whatever year we're doing. But that's going to save us money. So that's $0 right there. So it's still $75. Okay, we got to pay an editor. Got to pay an editor? Well, if you're going to pay a good editor, that's like 3 cents a word. But we can't do that. So we've got to have to self-edit. Ooh, which people are freaking like, I'm going, ooh, Lewis, how could you self-edit? You'll see why in a second why this will be a good thing long term. Hey, Andre. Hey, Randy. In the long term, well, I won't tell you about that yet. We'll just talk about the cost right now. We're going to do cost. So $75. No editor, no cover. We need to buy art. We need to buy stock art. Okay, so we're going to find the best, cheapest stock art we can get. We can spend like $25 on that. So that's $25. Boom. $100. Layout, well, I'll do layout myself. But if you're going to pay somebody, you find some college student who's a graphic designer, say, look, you do this layout for me, we'll set it up that we'll put it in your portfolio, we'll pitch you, that kind of thing. You find ways to save money. You do that for $0. That's another $0. All right. So we got the writing taken care of, the editing taken care of, the artwork taken care of, and the layout taken care of. Right now, boom, you got the big four. It's $100. Now, that's not a lot of money. But I said $100, and I'm a small one-person company. And if I'm going to do it right, I must do 2 adventures a month. So then, you've already doubled it. So now it's $200 a month. So if I do this for 6 months, that'll give me 12 adventures. That'll be $1,200 out of my pocket. Now here's where it gets even crazier. That money, those adventures, I'm going to pay for those things before I do any. I'm going to pay for all 6 adventures. Yeah. No, sorry, all 12 adventures, 6 months worth of adventures, before we even put one out. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, why would you do that? Because here's the thing. Remember what I talked about? If the fans like it and it starts getting really well, the problem because I can't put them out fast enough to get them excited. So 6 months worth of product gives me a nice buffer. But in the first 3 months, I'm going to find out exactly how well this thing is doing. Is it worth it in the first 3 months? That's $600 worth of it. I'm going to find out very quickly. Are people downloading it? Are they playing it? Are they reporting back? Are they giving me information? Are they saying, oh my God, do you have more stuff? There you go. So, the first month comes out. Well, let's do it this way. The first month comes out. You release the first 2 adventures. I'm going to change it a little bit. We said we're going to do 12 adventures. The first month, we're going to have 2 adventures released before, like the first month. And then we're going to release one every 15 days from there. So the first month 0, release 2, and then they'll have 5 more months worth of stuff. So we even have not even a month less than we had before. So by month 2 from there, we'll do the 2. So by end of month 1, we'll probably know kind of what's going on. By the end of month 2, we'll definitely know what's going on. So by the end of month 2, also we have 6 adventures out. So people are either excited, they're downloading it, they're talking about it, they're playing it, or they're not. One or the other. And if they're playing it and downloading it, you're thinking, okay, maybe we can build a fan base. If you're smart, inside of each of those there's going to be PDFs because we can't print these. We don't have any money. So inside the PDFs, we'll have an ad for the actual campaign setting. So say it's Neo Exodus, it'll be Neo Exodus, it'll be Arcanus, it'll be whoever. Doesn't matter. That will be in there, tied in there. Boom. So that's going on. I'm hoping that we're getting some kind of sales out of that, because if not, I was like, okay, well, I got this $1,200 and I'm blowing through. What's going to happen? So at the end of month 2, I've got to either commit that, okay, now we got to start worrying about the next 6 months worth of products, or I quit. So let's say it's all going okay. People are buying it. I see some sales, upticks. It looks like it's going to be a good thing. So, okay, now I got to commit. So I commit, man. I commit to doing another 6 months. So I got to kind of assign those all at the same time. That's another $1,200. Do I have the money readily available? What do you do? See, this is the point where you come, what do you do? What's the position? How do you handle it? And then it becomes down to money management. If you can pull off another 6 months, or maybe 3 months, that's $600, you do it. You bite the bullet and you do it. Now, while this is all going on, that you're giving away these free games, you've got to be out there at the conventions, at the stores, wherever you are locally, as far as you can get to. You got to be there with your products doing the GMing. And this is where I fall down. I'm not going to lie. I don't GM. I haven't GM'd in years. It's not my strong point. I know lots of good GMs, You got to find those guys. You got to find those guys who come down, who play this game over and over and over for people, all kinds of people they could like, people they could hate, doesn't matter. They want to play, people want to play. Hey, come on. You find somebody who does that, and they got to do it over and over and over. And the more times they do it, the more people like it, the more excited they get, the more they want to learn about it, boom, you'll get the sales. Because you go down with a good GM, maybe you as a business guy like me, you sit in the background, they go, oh, let's try the adventure out. They try the adventure out, they love it, they go, oh my God, do you have books? Do we have books? Boom, here's all the books you have for the, you got the campaign setting book. You toss them a good deal. Because remember, they get a good deal, they like it, you got them as fans forever. They got them as fans forever, you got PDFs for sale, they'll buy those. You got books for sale, they'll buy those. They're going to see you at cons, they're going to buy those. Hey, Stacy, what's going on? The people will come out to see what you're doing, and they want to get excited about it. So you want to get excited about it. So you got to be excited. So there you go. And if it's a good storyline, people should be excited. I mean, there's so many good stories you could tell for an empire. I mean, okay. One of the ones I always want to tell with New Exodus, I want to do an invasion. I always want to do some kind of cool invasion of New Exodus. I didn't know exactly who it would be. I knew it was going to be Romans, at least people dressed like Romans. And like for a long time, I kept saying, maybe I'll do like lizard men or reptile men as invaders, and that'd be kind of cool. I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. And then like a couple days ago, I was watching on YouTube, my favorite little thing to do, to watch like video games. People play video games and cutscenes in video games. So for Rise, the one for Rome, like it's spelled R-Y-S-E, they had a really cool movie. I was like, oh, that'd be totally cool. And then it came to me, I'm like, you know, it'd be cool in Roman soldiers and that kind of gear? Drow. I don't think I've ever seen Drow done from a Roman perspective. And I thought about it. It's like, that's kind of a good mashup because, hey, Jeff, what's going on? I mean, they've got the political aspects down. They got the deceit and the double backstabbing down. So it could be like, you could do kind of a Roman Empire based on the Drow. And that could actually work pretty well. And I'm like, oh my God, and Drow and the whole Roman style armor and calling them centurions. Oh, that would be, and give them like Latin names to go with it. Oh yeah, you could go all day with that. I think that would be kind of cool. I think people would never think of that. And visually, I don't think I've ever seen that. That's another piece. I think, once again, got to do cool visuals. People get excited. So have them invade your world and do a big invasion. And then, you do the beginning, a small attack. And in the midpoint, you have a big, big battle. And what I learned from the guys at, of course, at Permanent Concepts, they're big at doing battle interactives. And I think battle interactives are a cool idea. Repel invaders from XYZ, or, have a big war where your guys are at this table defending this part of the wall and da-da-da. I think there's lots of cool stuff you can do with that people would love to play. And they'd love to play at cons. I think if done well, you can do great battle interactives at the bigger cons. Like you do the Gen Cons and, of course, Origins, or maybe even, Dragon Con. And even maybe you go to the small regional one. Because there's hundreds of people doing cons every week all over. So if you're living in a good area, I would not suggest South Florida. We're kind of at the boot of everything. But if you're living if you're living in Baltimore, because I know Baltimore very well. Baltimore is, if driving is about, you can drive all the way to Danbury, Connecticut, my hometown, in 4 hours, like exactly 4 hours. So you can go through Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, 4 hours. And then if you do the reverse, you can go through, I think you can get all the way to Norfolk. You can get all the way to Norfolk, Virginia from Baltimore. So it's like, 4 hours. And then you can go out, well, that's west, out west to West Virginia. Nicholas has a question. Maybe another time. If you aren't GMing yourself, do you play test? No. See, Nicholas, thankfully enough, I have really good writers who do a lot of the play testing for myself. They do a lot of the guys who do writing. Jeff is a prime example. Jeff Lee, he was actually on this. He writes for me. He play tests at home. Michael McCarthy has a regular group. Anything he developed for us, he play tests with them. As an old business guy, I've taken more of the role of, I've taken a smart role. I've taken myself out of the equation of, I got to write everything. Because for a long time, you get your ego involved and you're like, I got to write everything. My name has got to be everything. And I'm like, that's the dumbest idea ever. Let guys who are better qualified writers than me do the best stuff. Look, Jeff's a better writer than me. I can admit that. I'm a big boy. Michael's a better writer than me. Rich Redmond, a much better writer than me. I mean, Owen Casey Stevens, a much better writer than me. Yeah, these guys are much better writers than me. Let them write. Let them do their stuff. You don't get your ego tied up like that. That's not good for your karma, not good for you. You know what I'm good at? I'm good at layout, and I'm good at finding artists. Those are my two strong points. If you see my product, would you agree? But then I'm doing my good job. When you write it, when you read it, it is written well, and it's like Jeff's name on it, or Michael's name on it, or Rich's name on it. Does that get you excited? Well, yes. Well, then they did their job well, too. don't get the whole thing ego caught on that you have to do everything. That's another problem with like one-man businesses. You think you got to do everything. No, figure out ways that you can farm out things you know you're not good at, and they're much better people qualified, and then pay them accordingly. If you can only afford to send a word, you tell somebody, look, I can only afford to send a word. That's what I can afford. Be honest, be truthful, and then when they're done with the work, pay them the money. Great example. We had a piece come in this today. Jeff wrote this. This will be funny. He'll laugh at this. Jeff did a piece about Sonic Dragons for me. It came in. The editor looked through it. I'd totally forgotten about it because I've been focused on the Kickstarter and other stuff. And he's like, okay, here's the finished book. Jeff did an awesome job. I'm like, not surprising, but okay, cool. So I started doing the layout. My editor is probably going to get paid tomorrow. Although I'm very sad. My editor gets paid once a month. He's one of the few guys who doesn't want to get paid like everybody else. But most people get paid, when they turn it in, or if I've forgotten, like, oh, I'm sorry, here's your money. The money should be readily available for to pay the people right there. This goes back to that whole thing. So you should always, hello, Miss Johnson, how are you doing? So it always goes back to that whole focus of you got to pay your people. You got to pay them consistently. You got to pay them. But find things that you know that people who are better than you can do and let them do it. Let them do it. I mean, I don't need to try to prove that I'm a great writer. No, dude, my ego doesn't need to be stroked like that. You know what makes me happy is when we do sell a great book and people love the stuff we do and they go, what more cool stuff do you have? That's the ego stroke you should care about. That's what you got to do. So take yourself out of the equation. Focus on what you do best. That's my word on that. So back to, once again, rabbit hole. So yeah, so I was thinking about doing, Drow as Romans. I think that's a cool visual, and you can work with that. So there's a lot of cool ideas that you can do for a living and organized play that I think could work very well. And doing the battle interactive. And also, here's something I didn't realize till I started talking to people about the money that generates. And this goes back to people said, well, you didn't make any money on it. Here's how you generate money, but it helps you in a different kind of way. At Gen Con and Origins and most major cons, if you run an event, you can charge for the event. And so for example, you're going to do a 4-hour event. Each 2-hour slot, I think, is $1.50. I think that's still what it is. I haven't been in a while, so don't totally write this in stone. And if I'm wrong about this, please somebody speak up about this. So each spot is about like $1.50 per 2 hours. So for a regular 4-hour spot, it costs $3. Whatever you charge above that, you as the company, you get that money to yourself. So if you want to do like a 4-hour spot and charge $5, well, boom, $3 the con gets, you get $2. Hey, that's a good deal. Who wouldn't want to do that? That sounds good for everybody. Well, not really, but you know what I'm saying. So you generate money that way. So for each person who pays the table, so you got 6 people at a table. If you got 6 people at a table and they run this 4-hour slot, the $2 you make, that's $12. Not a ton of money. It was $3. If it's $3, 6 would be 18. So 12 to 18 bucks you make per table you run of your game. Okay, so now I've got to let me get my calculator out to put some fear of God in your head. You can think about this for a second. So, like I said, every 4-hour one is $3. Plus, let's say we're going to do $3 for ourselves too. So that's $6. Someone's planning to come sit at your game. There's got to be $6 worth of value there for those 4 hours. So I think it's very possible to do. I should actually clear this for a second. So it's $18 you make per table. $18 of value at each table you play for each slot you play. We're going to talk about one slot right now because we're going to blow your mind with the math. So imagine you've got, okay, let's go crazy. Imagine you have 25 tables. 25 tables, 6-person tables, 150 people playing. That's a good amount of people. 150 people playing, that's a good number. You're good to go. Each slot you play with 150 people playing will generate you $450. Okay. Let's figure each day you run, I'll be nice. No, 5, that's too many. Let's say you run 4 slots a day. That's 16 hours worth of gaming. So that gives people sleep and other time. But that's, say you run 4 slots. 4 slots, 16 hours a game. 4 slots times 4. It's $1,800 you put in your pocket profit. From $1,800. That's your take-home money. Now, that was running on 25 tables, 4 slots over a big con. You made $1,800. That's one day. Let's say we do that for 2.5 days. That's what we're gonna do, that 2.5 day math. Let's say the con starts on Thursday and the rest of Sunday. You run, kind of like that. So you figure you could probably raise about $4,500 if you do it right. $4,500. But here's the thing: you got to find GMs for that. Got to find GMs to run it. You got to find at least 25 guys who want to run. More than that. Well, at least 4 times a day times 2.5 days. That's 10. So you get 25 guys. You want to run 10 times. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe it's less, maybe it's all interactive. There's all different ways you can do this. So, but this will give you the idea of how much money you can generate on a big event. Now, $5,000 isn't, $4,000, $5,000 isn't the sneeze at, but that can definitely cover your expenses for Gen Con. They can, and plus for every certain amount of things you run, you can give people free rooms, and that the con will give that to you because they want people to come. So there's lots of ways you can barter back and forth on this thing, that thing, these things. It's oh my God, it is just a great thing to do. So if you're serious about business and you really want to think about how to expand your third-party company, any party company, because there are a lot of other guys who are doing this who are not like traditional D&D and stuff. They're still doing the organized play. So if you're thinking about that, boom, that's some quick math. Talk to some people, find some people out. If you find a company that's doing it, ask them questions. That's what I did. I just asked questions because I didn't know a lot. So I said, what about this? What about that? And they were kind enough to give me some answers. Just, this is what's great about this industry. There's a lot of people who are really, really friendly and give you a lot of information. If you don't know, they'll be very, very happy to talk to you about it. So do yourself a favor. Go out, talk to them, meet them, do as many cons as you can. If you can't do a lot, start at home first. Do your local areas. Get your local stores into it. Make a good product. Make adventures when people get up. There's like, wow, man, that was a great adventure. What's your next one? That's how you want it to be. Even though it's a 4-hour slot, you want to make the best 4-hour slot possible. And you form that niche, you develop from that, and you just keep going. I said, look, this isn't rocket science that I'm doing. It's steady work and it's being focused. If you can keep doing it steady and being focused, you can get involved with it. So, all right, let's pass my time. The debate's on. Maybe I'll see a little bit. Maybe there might be some good insults or some jabs or maybe some craziness might happen. I don't know, but whatever. Tomorrow, of course, we're going to talk about a company. I don't know what company we're going to talk about. I might want to jump out and probably talk about something else, but I don't know. You never know. I never know until I decide. When I decide, you all will know. So, as always, thank you for stopping by the show. I really do appreciate it. As always, since I always forget to do this, make sure you subscribe. That's always important. There'll be a little button that pop up in the corner. This corner? Well, on the YouTube it'll be there, but on Facebook you won't have it. So on YouTube it'll be there, kind of. We'll have a little button that says subscribe. Sign up for subscribe. I think we're still like 5 people away from hitting our number 200. So please subscribe on YouTube. It's very important. And as always, the notes will be here for Facebook, down here for YouTube. And, I can't say enough nice things. Yeah. Oof. And the debate. It's going to be crazy. All right, everybody. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go do some stuff, and then I'm going to sleep. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.